But yeah,
Like
let's dive in and look at some of the bullshit that kind of occurred last week that allowed me to not hit a couple of bets.
I went
Um,
3 for 4. It just didn't happen like I thought it was gonna.
I know I lost the Texans bet on the fucking safety that
That did beat you. I wasn't sure. Remember, I asked him, like, did that just kill you? And you didn't reply. So I guess I should have known that that was what killed you. Yeah.
yeah,
Don't you
so
just
that
love the
killed me.
Chiefs?
Extra points made me push on the Philly bet.
Okay.
Matt Stafford, I wasn't even close on that. He went
Mm,
well up, well above 216 because he was playing from behind the whole time. I should have went with that Jalen Hurts under. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown score, I took in your book, and then
yep.
money line Bills. So I went 2-1-2.
Interesting. Yeah, I obviously missed the Lions game. That I think the whole world missed the Lions game though, so I don't feel too
Mhm.
bad about that. But happy about getting the Bills because it literally was exactly what we said. The Ravens are talented enough, but they're stupid, and they will make mistakes and they will screw it up, and that's exactly what happened. Heart goes out to Andrews. That's a rough way, especially for a great veteran like him. The fumble on the drive before the drop basically cost the team the game. Anybody who says that Jackson lost that game is out of their mind. Jackson's the reason why they had a chance, and Jackson can't catch it for him. So if you're one of those guys out there that's like, oh, he threw it a little late, who the fuck cares? He hit him right in the chest. He needs to catch the fucking ball. Like that's the dumbest shit I've heard this week. Is well, if you would have thrown it on time and if you wouldn't have pumped, it's like kiss my ass. He hit him right in the chest while he's standing there in the end zone. Like, what the hell else do you want him to do? That's just ridiculous, stupid shit. Those are just people that hate Jackson. That's insane.
Y- Yeah, and I subscribe to the philosophy that if you can touch the ball, you can catch it, and that's a ball that Mark Andrews is going to catch. I mean, it's been said
And
before,
just
like 99 out of 100 times he probably catches it,
yeah,
but
he
it's the
didn't
one time
just
he doesn't.
touch it. He hit him dead center in the square of his chest. He hit him between the numbers. It's like you can't put it any better than that. And it's not like he rifled it in from 5 yards away. It was a normal throw. That was
Yeah, and they
ridiculous.
they need to relax too because at the same time it's not to win the game, right? It's to send it into overtime. You're going to give the ball back to the Bills and Josh Allen with more than enough time to get into field goal range or score a
Yeah,
touchdown.
Bills
So,
still could have won that game for sure.
mm.
But I mean, it would have been much more fun to watch him drive down and try to win it than it just being
Oh
handed to
yeah.
him like that for sure. But this is it. I just on that game, like it was the least confident game going in, but it's like the home team, the smarter team, usually wins. And there's some stats for you. The team who has won the turnover margin in the playoffs has won every single game this playoff, every single one. And it just tells you whoever is smart with the ball and is the smarter football team in the playoffs is going to win. And that was Buffalo. So is Baltimore more talented? Probably. Are they sitting at home? Yep, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what kind of bothers me is when there's like the narrative behind the Eagles, right? Where they're almost pushing like, well, Jalen Hurts can't pass. Well, it's like I don't want to have a game where we got to find out or he's going to do something to prove the critics wrong. Like Lamar
Well,
Jackson and the Ravens, it was almost like they could prove they could pass. Like do what you did against Steelers, where you run it 10 times in a row right down their throat. You know?
and remember, if you watch our replay from last time, what did we say? Oh, they ran the ball 8,000 times last game, which this time what we'll do is just throw it every play. That's how dumb they are. That's the problem. It's exactly what we said was going to happen. I've been watching the Ravens for years, like I'm sure everybody has. And the same thing always happens. They look amazing one week, and then they're like, wow, that was really good. That really worked. Let's just not do it again. And you're like, what the hell are you doing? And that's been the rate. I call them the Sacramento Kings of football. And here's why. The Sacramento Kings, for the last part of the 90s and the early 2000s, had an unbelievably talented team, but they would do something stupid all the time and they would just blow it. Like, great example. They were going to go to the Western Conference Finals, and Chris Webber missed a layup with 30 seconds left with nobody guarding him, and the Kings lost to the Timberwolves. They would always they were talented but stupid. They would do shit like that and that's been Baltimore. Every time I watch Baltimore, especially in the playoffs, talented but stupid. I mean, they wear the same jerseys for God's sakes. They're in purple and black. It's just they just I always Sacramento Kings. Every time I watch them, it's like they've got all the talent in the world, but they can't put it together. And Yeah, and then speaking of putting it together, I was too much of a coward to bet 2,000. I didn't do that, but I did bet 500 on the Kansas City money line and won myself $100, and that was it. It was like it was a little nervous in the first half, but not really because you knew what was going to happen. And how disgusting was that game again? Like the entire social media is blowing up, rightfully so. Anybody's like, "Oh, you're crying about the Chiefs." Not crying when it's true. They're flat out cheating. This is the only team in the history of the NFL, by the way, that out yardage their opponent by over 100 yards, did not turn the ball over, won the time of possession, and lost the game. And it was every single time they would have some momentum and they would do something to be pushing forward, the rest would cheat. The missed kick on the 55-yarder, maybe he makes, maybe he doesn't. The guy was offsides by over a yard and he was standing next to the referee and they didn't call anything. Like it's just absurd at this point. The phantom misses for Mahomes. I mean, it's been talked about at nausea this week for sure. But how do you have a playoff game refed like that? It's just absurd.
Yeah, I think the issue is too is it's not only just like the calls that get made that seem to have such a big impact on the game. It just seems to like everything goes perfectly. Like everything just aligns perfectly with the best luck and the ball ends up in their hands just when it needs to be. And it seems like it always falls that way for them. And I think that's what people are sick of.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of it is luck, and some of it is unbelievable
Mm,
timing that happens, and it's always like, hey, everybody gets called for holding. Okay, great, but hey, when it's 3rd and 18, and Mahomes is throwing the ball away, and it's defensive holding for 5 yards, but an automatic first down, and keeps the drive going. It's just always
mhm.
stuff like that, and that's been the killer. But that's also why I bet the money. I'm like, okay, if I know they're going to cheat, and I know that was true, throw it. I'll throw $500 up there just to win $100 back and with the terrible odds. Why? Because it's a free $100. I know they're going to win, and it's just
Mhm.
and that's what's sad about the situation. It really is. But I'm like, I might as well make some money off of the thing.
How do you feel the game this next week's gonna play out?
Uh, like I've been saying since we did the show, they have to be twice as good as the other team, and the Bills are twice as good as the Chiefs are. So they've got a chance of really doing this. They have to keep their head. And the only thing they've really got going for them is that it's at a fever pitch that the entire world. We've got Aikman went crazy on them during the game. Rex Ryan all but called them cheaters the next day on his morning show that he does
Mhm.
with them. It's I gotta think that they're going to minimize the cheating as much as possible because they know the whole world's watching and everybody's losing their mind right now. It gives the Bills the best shot. I believe the entire nation, except for that little small circle in Kansas City where all the Chiefs fans are going to be, is rooting for them. This is like gathering everybody's strength. I'm a Bills fan for 1 week only this week. Like just anything to beat the Chiefs. And game wise, I have the Bills winning the game. They're +2. I'll take
Mm.
that game. Do you want to do the bets now, or do you want to wait a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, let's go ahead and there's only the two games, so I guess we'll each pick our
Yep.
picks for the games, and then we can go into some more player props and then kind of how we think these games are going to turn out.
Okay, well, for the Bills game, I think that they are clearly the better team. I think Allen's able to run all over them. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to do too much on offense against their defense. I think that the Bills have the composure to handle it when they get screwed, which is going to happen. But I think that they can deal with it. I think that this is the Bills' time, and I think that the Chiefs team. I mean, the Chiefs were not very. The Texans were the better team, and the Texans aren't very good. Is the truth of it. The Bills are 3 times as good as the Texans. I think the Bills cover the 2. If they win by 1 point, I'm happy as hell. I always bet the money line, and luckily for me, my team is an underdog this time, so that's a wonderful thing. So give me the Bills, and then my favorite things. I got some fun ones for you. Um, Allen over 231 seems like a given. Allen anytime scorer seems like a given. Some interesting one. I think that Cook, their running back, he just needs to clear 12.5 yards in the air. I could definitely see some screen passes going to him. I like 2 bets. This is my fun one. Mac Hollins, I believe, still is their number one touchdown scorer for the entire year. Mac Hollins is over 11.5. If Mac Hollins scores a touchdown, most likely that pass is going to go over 11.5 yards. So give me Mac Hollins +650 anytime score for the Bills and over 11.5 yards.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
yards and touchdown. I like that. Who do you got against the spread in Eagles Commanders?
I hate to tell you this. I hope I'm wrong. I'm taking the Commanders, and I'm taking the money
The
line
points.
on. I'm taking and here's why. I think that if the Eagles are full strength and the Eagles are ready to go, then I think the Eagles win this game. And do I think the Eagles can still win this game? Absolutely. I think this is my coin toss game, quite honestly. The problem is the Commanders are white hot. Jalen Daniels, you can't stop them. Third and fourth down, they are incredible. They keep the ball moving, and the Eagles are incredibly beat up. They got Hurts is hobbling to practice. Goddard isn't practicing. Their center, he's going to play. They're all going to play. Their center is barely moving. Their defense is beat up. And if I looked it up here, if you bet Bills Commanders money line this week, you get paid 6-1. So I paid $25 on there. Can they lose? Now, I think the Eagles have the best shot of beating the Chiefs still. If the Chiefs somehow get through and the Eagles do win, they'll have 2 weeks to heal, and they should be ready for the Chiefs at that part. So my heart wants the Eagles to win. Just it would be great for you for sure, and it would be the best chance of beating the Chiefs. And you guys go first, so we don't know if the Chiefs are going to win or not. But for this game only, you guys know how to beat each other. Commanders are red hot and they're healthy, and you're not. And if Hurts can't move, Barkley's not nearly as effective running the ball. Hurts draws a lot of attention. You can't guard them both. If you can just focus on Barkley, you can hold Barkley to 110 yards, which sounds like a great game. It's just not.
Right.
And like you said, I know you're going to do a big part of this. Is the narrative on Hurts is that he can't throw. What sucks about it, he proved he can throw when it mattered in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He had a phenomenal game, so he can throw. Not very accurate, but he can throw. The point of it is, though, is that if he can't move too well, that's going to affect not only his running, but his throwing. If he can't plant and set his feet, if he's running away and it's going out on him, he's going to struggle throwing the ball on the run. And what most of his talented throws, at least that I've seen, you've seen more than me, is him throwing on the run and making plays. If he's just back in the pocket and he can't move, or he's hobbled while he does move, I don't know how well he throws. So, and the narrative on him might be right for the wrong reasons on this game. It might not be because he can't throw. It might be because he's hurt. And because he's hurt, he can't throw.
All
And then
right.
they just blame him that he can't throw, which would not be fair, but it would fit the narrative, which is not good for you. So what do you think?
I'm gonna go heavy against you. Give me
Yep,
the
I figured
Chiefs.
as much.
I'm gonna dance with the devil. Give me the Chiefs. There's no way the
Oh
Bills come out of
God.
this fucking game.
Oh.
There is no way. It's fucking destined to be the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It's destined. I, I've
Yeah, I know
I've
that feeling. I had that
I've
last year.
yeah, I was mulling it over and I was thinking, I was like, I want the Bills to win too much. But I give me the Chiefs. Give me the
Yeah.
Chiefs all day long. And then give me the Eagles by more.
Um,
So I'll take them at -6. I think it's going to be more. And here's a couple of
you
reasons
think
why.
they're gonna beat them by 6? Wow. Okay.
More. Give them by
More than
double
6?
digits. I think they're going to beat them by double
Double
digits.
digits. Ooh, we might have
Yes.
to make a side bet after the show then.
All right. All right. So, and here's the reason. Here's the reason why.
Okay.
The Commanders' defense runs man coverage 70% of the time.
Yep.
That's why I like that AJ Brown bet so much early in the year, is because AJ Brown destroys man coverage. We have really, really good man beater concepts because we have, and this is also contingent on the fact that I do believe Goddard's going to play. I think that makes a
Uh,
huge difference. He wasn't playing in that previous game. We did have and then also an ejection with our safety, who's once he's out, there's a huge impact on our defense. We didn't have Hurts, so what happened was they started just running a lot of zone and then just stacking the box with Saquon. Um,
question for you. Didn't they not have Lattimore?
no, they did have Lattimore the second game.
They did? Okay. I didn't know if Lattimore had been back by that. I was gonna say Lattimore might be a guy who can contend with Brown.
That's what we're gonna have to see. But and then we talk about stopping Saquon Barkley. You can't stop him, and
No,
their rushing defense is ranked 30th in the league.
that's right.
And you saw the Rams, they've tried to bring 8, 9 into the box, and then all it takes is, and
Barkley
it's
did.
funny because we talked about this a little bit the other day, is the fact that Saquon's almost like hesitating, not hitting the hole. Like they're almost kind of game planning for when he's going to get that big break run.
Mm-hmm. Well, they
So,
just keep punching and leaning on that. The Eagles have been doing that all year. It's the third and fourth quarter where Barkley kills you. They've hit him so many times that the defense collapsed, and then Barkley bursts through the line and he kills
Mhm.
them. But on this game, though, it's not going to be snowing, right?
No, it's
Make sure
actually
you different on that.
it's in the middle of the day. It's gonna be 3 o'clock. Sun's gonna be out. It's gonna be roughly like 32 degrees. It's gonna be cold, but no precipitation. So here's the player props I liked.
Okay, go for it. I'll
Um,
give you my answer.
over on everything Travis Kelsey related.
Okay.
He did virtually nothing
Okay.
against them earlier in the year. I looked at it and I had it written down, but I couldn't find it. But I don't give a shit if his line is like 7.5 catches. He's going over it. I think he is the security blanket for Mahomes, and he turns it on in the playoffs. He is getting a little old and out of it, but I think he's truly picking what games and
He
how
had
they
a great
use
game
him.
against the Texans. He played very well
Mhm.
against the Texans. All right, let me
Um,
look up for you here. Keep going. I'll look up Kelsey though.
And then obviously I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts under 34.5 rushing yards. That seems like pretty much a given. The only
You said
way
you
I
started
see
over
him
34?
under
Under. Okay, I was just gonna say, I was like, I don't know about that. Okay, good. Under makes
34,
more sense.
he has the capability to easily go over that, but with the knee, I don't
Oh,
even
with
see
that
why they
knee,
would fuck around with it.
that would
And
be
if I'm
insane. Because even if he breaks that and they win the game, that might cost them the Super Bowl. I
yeah,
don't like that idea.
and if I'm wrong on this, it's because they've been keeping quiet in the knees that something totally minor, and I'd love to be proved wrong on that.
Well,
Do you
Dr.
want to?
David Chow, the NFL insider guy that's on the NFL Network all the time and is on Sirius NFL, he follows it over there. He said that his last reports were Jalen Hurts was he was literally limping walking to practice there on Friday is what they said. So he's in a brace and he's taking the needle is basically what he said on the radio.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel pretty confident about the Jalen Hurts under 34.5. Did you see what
Hurts
Saquon
is over. I'm
Barkley's
sorry, Kelsey's over 70 by the way.
Kelsey's over 70 with how many
He's
catches?
I don't have a catch one. MGM, at least that I know of, doesn't have a number of catches. It just got
Okay.
70 yards.
So I'll do a similar one to how you did with Mac Hollins. I'll do a little anytime TD with the over on their receiving yards.
Anytime I think it was plus 130 for Kelsey.
Plus 130. That's pretty good. And then I'll combine that. I'll
Yeah,
look at what that is. That's probably got to be what, like 220,
yeah. Well,
something like that. Three.
for your game, I love Daniels over 227. That seems like a really low number. I mean, especially if the game goes the way that you think it's going to
Mhm.
go. That means that they're going to be losing and throwing the ball a lot. I this one's. I swear this isn't a needle at you. This is just because I think he's going to do it. Ertz over 32.5. He seems to have big games against you, from what I've seen. And I
Would
really like. Yeah, I really like Eckler over 24.5 receiving yards. They incorporated Eckler into the pass game big time against the Lions. I think that they're going to be throwing it to him a lot this game. So
I can
those are
see
my
that.
three for you.
I even looked at Zach Ertz like anytime touchdown.
Yep.
Uh,
He seems
he
to
did
play against you guys. He seems to
very
play.
well.
Yes, he
And not
does.
only that is our head coach seemed to think it was a good idea to talk shit to him, even though he's um, a beloved Eagles player that actually won a Super Bowl with us. But yeah, did you hear about
Well,
that when
he's
they
really.
played? He had to
We all
apologize on Zoom to him the next day.
everybody says how smart Nick is, so you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. Well, I guess one other thing relating to that game too. Did you see that the line for Saquon Barkley's rushing yards?
I think it was 120,
It's 130. They said
130.
it's the highest rushing line that DraftKings I think said they've ever set since they became a
It makes
company.
sense, and I wouldn't bet under it. That's for damn sure. No way.
Mhm.
I don't think I'd bet the over either. But I'm like, that's 130 sounds about right. I mean, that's guy
Isn't
is an
that
absolute beast with the best offensive line in football. It's
oh
just
shit?
again, it's really going to depend on how much they focus on him. Like I'll tell you what, you tell me what you would do if I were the Redskins. I'd have 8 in the box, and I would play them all man to man, and I would just dare them to beat them by throwing the ball. I would just be like, if AJ Brown catches 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, so be it. We're gonna sell out on Barkley. I mean, and I would just be like, we're gonna assume that Hurts can't run until he proves otherwise, and then we'll change our defense accordingly if he does. But I would play them straight up as if I was playing Bertie Kosar. I'd be like, he's not going anywhere. I'm just putting 8 in the box. Everybody's on Saquon, Lattimore, the rest of the group. Pressure's all on you. You got to stop the receiving core. We're going to put a ton of pressure on Hurts. We're going to try to move him from his spot. We're going to zone in on Barkley, and we're just going to beat him up. And you guys have to handle them man to man. And sure, we're going to get a couple of 70 or 80-yard deep passes against us that are going to happen. But if we can get a bunch of 3-and-outs, we can beat them. That would be my strategy against them.
Yeah, I think my strategy would be very, very early, um, to put as much pressure on Hurts as possible and get him and test his knee out.
Yep.
Because he holds the ball for a long time, and that offensive line is great, but find out how to get free rushers on him, find out how to push the pocket, make him get out of the, and just, yeah, try and tee off, and like you said, stack the box on Barkley. And I do believe that Hurts can get into a rhythm, but if he's uncomfortable and has to get out of his spot and he's not healthy, um, he does rely on a lot of things to be right to excel in the passing game, and that's where I see he would have trouble is they're just sending pressure, he's getting off his spot, and they're making him beat him with their arm.
Well, and it's Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn believes in pressure. So it's going to come. There's no doubt about it. I think you're going to see a strategy very similar to that. And again, that might lead to some really big Eagles plays, but I wouldn't panic if that happens. Like if a guy like A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith beats him one-on-one and goes for a 70-yarder, it is what it is. Way to go. You beat their guy over there. But if you can follow up a long touchdown pass by the Eagles with 2, 3-and-outs, it's worth the strategy, is my thought process on it.
Yeah, because the problem is the Commanders aren't very talented, but the one thing they are is they're very, very persistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in our second matchup, we're just like, stay down. Like, we force another turnover, just lay the fuck down and go to sleep. And they just kept saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and won on the last play of the game. And with the Lions, too, like, it just seemed like they never took their foot off the gas. Like going into the halftime, I think we were talking about, oh, now's a good time to pick up odds on Detroit money line because
I
it's
did.
probably
I lost. Yeah, I did.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what worries me is the relentlessness of it. And he is very poised, and they're playing with house money, so there I don't think there's ever going to be a point in the game where they're gonna lay down or because we're a physical team, and sometimes you could just put your foot on their throat, and then by the middle of the third quarter, they're like, "Okay, I give up." But
Yeah.
we also give up, we let teams back into the game. I mean, if you look at Green Bay, we're up 10, just intercepted the ball. It comes down to a closer game than it really, really should be. Against the
Mhm.
Rams, we are up, what was it? Up 13, the
Yeah.
7 minutes in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden they're one play away. Luckily, we get a
Uh,
sack on them. They have someone open from scoring the touchdown, winning the game by one.
yeah, I was
Like
texting
we
you. I was like,
let
now you're
people in
about
the
to find
game.
out what it feels like to be a Niner fan this year. Like,
Yeah.
am I watching a 49er game? Because this looks eerily familiar.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's 100% true. The main thing for both teams, like for the Bills game, shifting gears for that one, is that they have to show them that they're not scared of him. They've got to batter Mahomes, even if it's a penalty. They've
Mhm.
got to come with ferociousness. I think it's the same thing for the Eagles game. You got a young team in Washington that's coming in with nothing to lose and playing with house money that's feeling amazing. You got to punch them in the mouth early and show them, and you just have to have that message of not today. Like, and again, they're not going to quit on you. That no team should ever quit in the championship game for sure. But at the same time, you have to have them realize that they've been playing the JV and now they're playing the varsity. That it's got to be that kind of feeling. The Eagles are bigger and stronger, like you mentioned. If they can, assert themselves and they can show them that all game long, then they'll finally, wilt them down. The Redskins are going to have to do it by needling. It's going to be very much like that Lions game where every time there was a third down, every time you're like, this is the time the Lions are going to finally put their foot down and they're going to end this. The Redskins will get a first down. Like how many? What are they 4 for 4 on fourth down? Like how many 3rd and 8s did they convert? That's the key to the Redskin game, and that's also the key to the Chiefs game. What do the Chiefs do? They do very few things well. This is the truth. But the one thing the Chiefs are fantastic at, 3rd and 9, we got to get the first down to keep this going. They
Gotta
find a
have
way
it.
to get 10. But the Redskins have that in common with them. Both games that I've seen in the playoffs, when it's 4th and 4, 3rd and 3, doesn't matter. They're finding a way to get those first downs. Can you get the Redskins off the field? Can the Bills? And here, ironically, the Bills and the Chiefs are two of the very worst teams in football of getting people off the field on 3rd down. That'll be the key to that game. Turnovers is going to be the key to every playoff game. We talked about that before. If you win the
Mhm.
turnover, you're most likely going to win there. But the second most important thing in both of these games is can you get the other team off the field on 3rd down? That'll be the key in both games. It's going to be huge in your game because nobody's been able to keep the Redskins off the field in these first two
Mhm.
playoff games.
Yeah, uh, that's what's tough is, um, I mean, our defense has done a really good job, and to be quite honest with you, they've saved our ass the past couple of games. But here's the thing
Yeah,
I'm worried about is, like you say, their ability to convert. We still have not figured out how to consistently convert. Washington's only punted one time in the past two playoff games. I
yeah.
couldn't even tell you how many fucking 3-and-outs I've seen from Philly. I know Washington goes for it, and they're usually a little bit behind on some of these games or being a little bit more aggressive. But still, at the same token, is we have these like dry spells of what happened in the Green Bay game where we don't get a first down for like 2 quarters till like the end of the third quarter. And our defense can only stand up for so long, even if they're getting takeaways, even if they're turning them away. How many times can they do that if we're not moving the chains, or
Well,
if our defense is getting tired because they're on the field the whole time?
that's what I was just gonna say is the tired part. Who'd you play in the first game? Love, not a running quarterback. Who'd you play
Hmm.
in the second? Stafford can barely move. Who you're playing in the third game? One of the most versatile running quarterbacks in football, and that's what tires defenses out. That's going to be your biggest thing is can your defense not get tired in the fourth quarter against that team? It's a big
Yeah.
thing. That's like, for me. If I getting paid, do I think I'm going to win this bet? Maybe, maybe not. Honestly, if like I had a gun to my head, it would be Bills Eagles. Is the truth of it. But if you're saying if I win the Eagles Bills, I get basically a little over 1-1. Great. If I get 6-1 with the Commanders, and I think the Commanders have a legit shot of winning this game, give me 6-1. Let's see what happens. Basically, that's why I'm making this bet is because if I'm gambling, let's gamble. I'm putting $25 up. I basically get $200 after everything's said and done if I win this bet. I could
Hmm.
see a world where the Eagles win this game, but I could also see a world where the Commanders win this game. So it's worth the bet to me. So we shall see. But I don't think the Chiefs win. I really don't. And I got if they win, I'm going to go into depression for the next 2 weeks. But
The
I,
Eagles
I
will
just
save it. The
the Bills
Eagles
are
will save the
so
nation.
much the Bills are so much better than the Chiefs. That's the main thing
Hmm.
that hurts me more than when you look at it. They are so much more talented. And now it's just the only thing it's very much you remember when the Titans finally beat the Patriots and ended
Hmm.
the dynasty. I remember going into that game going, everything tells me the Titans should win this game. They should totally win this game. But God, the Patriots never lose. And the only reason why people were betting on the Patriots that week was because of, well, they never lose and they got Brady. And that's kind of how this feels with the Chiefs game. The only reason that they're betting on is three reasons. They still got Mahomes, they still are at home, they never lose, and they got the refs. And that's nobody's saying because of they've got this receiver or they got that or their run game or the yada yada yada. It's because they just expect something horrible to happen. That's the only reason why people don't bet on the Bills right now. The Bills are
Hmm.
so much more talented than they are. I hope God the
I
Chiefs finally
agree.
win.
I know, I feel it. It's
Yeah, I
gonna
think
be
this is a drinking
roughly
game for
24
me.
hours.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
drinking game for me, man. I need the Bills to. I can't. if the Chiefs win a three-peat, I don't know how I can take it. I just don't. I don't. I say I've been in an emotional funk since the Super Bowl last year, and I haven't recovered from that. And I don't know when I'm going to recover from that. But if I have to watch those assholes win a three-peat, I don't know how I come back from that. That's going to develop an eating disorder or something. Like I don't know how. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, um the only way you get over it, because I went through the same exact thing with the Eagles fans, and then I kind of not similar collapse. It was different, but definitely
Yeah.
not the same team after playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and losing. I'll tell you when it gets better, when you see another team lose to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Then
thanks. Great, thanks.
that's when
Well,
the
I don't.
depression and
And
sadness
it's
goes
not
away.
going to get better for me because I don't want to see that. I don't. Good Lord. It's better for me that we're already off to an amazing start. We fired the defense coordinator. We fired the special teams coach. We got Robert Saleh back. Like everything so far is going to plan in the offseason, and we've got a low enough draft pick that we can pick a tackle in the draft.
Mhm.
So far so good. This might be very much like after the 2019 loss to the Chiefs, where 2020 the whole team got hurt, and in 2021 they were able to fix themselves. Maybe the same thing will happen again with the win this time
Yeah,
versus fucking heartbreaking loss in
I
overtime.
think it's just a fluke year. I mean, you had McCaffrey thing. I think some of your team was just exhausted, worn out, hurt, injured, all the above. But I think you guys will be fine. You guys definitely need to pick up a tackle, and I think you got a good
Yeah.
draft to do that, and pick up another running back too.
Oh, that's they had a list of the top 5 most hazarded jobs in the United States. It was like coal miner, like skyscraper fixer, and it's like running for Mike Shanahan, like most dangerous job to do.
Well,
We lost all 4 running backs we had this year. All 4 of them got hurt.
yeah, that's why you need five. But
Well,
we're
we
gonna
didn't.
be in that
Our
same
fifth was
boat.
just some dude off the street going, "Hey, would you like to die for a game check of $40,000? Here, we'll give you the
Mhm.
ball." Yeah, no,
I
it's
mean, we might
they
face that with Barkley because how high his usage was this year. I don't know.
and it goes back to the narrative like you were talking about. There were games this year where, of course, McCaffrey wasn't playing, Jennings not playing, Debo not playing, Brandon Ayuk not playing, Kittle not playing, and Trent Williams not playing. And yeah, it looks like Purdy's not nearly as good of a quarterback anymore. What's wrong with him? Can't figure it out. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe when you take out 5 all pro players, I mean, I think there's no argument that Trent Williams is going to the Hall of Fame. I think there's no argument that Christian McCaffrey is going to the Hall of Fame. The receivers aren't going to the Hall of Fame, but they're all pretty good. And Kittle has a chance to go to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they're all
but
not playing.
yeah, but
Great.
Josh Allen has 0 All Pro people on his team, and he can get it done.
Well, not quite true. He's got Cook is a Pro Bowler. Kincaid, I believe, went to the Pro Bowl, and Amari Cooper used to go to the Pro Bowl that they got, even though apparently he just doesn't get to play anymore. I have no idea why, but maybe he's broken. I don't know. But I
I
agree
think
if
he'll
I
have
would
it.
take Josh Allen or Purdy, I would definitely take Josh Allen. But I think
I,
if you took Josh Allen or Hurts, you would definitely take Allen too.
I definitely would. But
Yeah.
all right, man. Well, roughly a little over 24 hours till we get to see who goes to the Super Bowl. So excited to see how these games go. Do you got anything else before we sign off?
I'll say this: I'm not as angry and spiteful as you. I am, believe it or not, cheering for the Eagles. I do want you to win your game on that one. I just think bet wise, it's worth the
It
bet
makes
just a
sense.
bit. I won't be disappointed if the Eagles win the game. I do hope that you can win there, and you really need to just cheer for the Bills. I understand exactly where you're
I'm
coming
going
from.
to.
You want to beat the Chiefs. I get it. I was in your exact same spot last year, but it's like this has to end. They gotta just stop them. Whether it's you, whether it's the Redskins, whether it's the Bills, somebody just has to beat them, and that's how I want to end it on that. Is I'm hoping next week when we talk again that we can talk about that the Chiefs are finally dead. That's what I'm hoping more than anything.
All right, sounds good. Take it easy. Go Bills. Go Eagles.
Go Bills. Talk to you later. Good luck for your Eagles. Bye bye.
All right, thanks.